Hi, my name's Charlie King. I'm with Heroic Fatherhood, and this is your Mentor's Moment. In today's question, a dad asks, how do I get my kids to do chores? They fight me tooth and nail. This is a Sisyphean task. Now, you remember Sisyphus. He was that character from Greek mythology who rolled a boulder uphill as a punishment for something he'd done. And when he got to the top of the hill, the boulder would roll back down and he'd start back up again. Many new tasks can feel like Sisyphean tasks. You may have even had a job at some point, dads, that felt like it was a Sisyphean job where all you did was work and you never seemed to feel like you got any satisfaction, or it was never going to end. It was just going to be awful and oh my God, I can't believe it. Anyways, that's the way it can feel for kids. They've never been asked to do this stuff before. It doesn't sound like fun. It was not something they would normally do for themselves. They expect other people to do it for them. So of course, there's going to be pushback. Kids are going to fight you tooth and nail. So here at Heroic Fatherhood, we always want to give you some sort of a distinction, and we want to give you some action that you can do with it. So chores and kids. It is super important for kids to have chores. They are participants in the family. They have a voice in the family. I'm sure you've heard that, and they get some say in the family about how things go. But as a participant, they also have responsibilities, and those responsibilities can include chores, everything from taking the trash out or cleaning the cat litter or doing the dishes or, cleaning the toilets or organizing the paperwork or sweeping the floors or using the vacuum or taking the dog for a walk, or just about anything can be a task. Now, what you do as a chore what you assign will all depend on where the child's at and what the appropriate kind of chore there will be for their age. That being said, to get them to do the chores is the big challenge. Once you figure out what's an age-appropriate chore that you're asking your kids to do, you want to make sure that you communicate with them that we're all being a piece of this, that we're all doing it. And there's a number of ways that you can lower the bar of actually having to do it, especially the first few times. Look, it's always going to be hard. You're always going to be reminding your kids, except for some, but some kids are always going to need to be reminded to do their chores. But the first few times can feel like pulling teeth. So here's some tips for you. First, make it a family affair. Make it a family affair that when you do your chores, they do their chores. So we're all working together. So while they're taking the trash out, you're vacuuming. While they're brushing the dog, you're cleaning the toilets. While they're cleaning the shower, you're cleaning the sinks. When there's this camaraderie that we're all working together, it lowers the level of stress and, it's woe is me because I'm all alone and I can't believe you're asking me to do all these horrible things, Father. So that's one thing, is do it all together. Make it a family affair. Next, put on some loud music, some fun music that the kids like, or at least doesn't drive them crazy, so that we're all kind of bopping through the house. That's what we do in our house. We crank up some tunes and everybody's moving around and they're working pretty hard to get things done, which really helps. Third is make sure that you are choosing chores that are age appropriate. Something that's gonna, take 45 minutes for a 7-year-old may not work because they don't have an attention span that actually serves them to get something done that takes 45 minutes. That may be something better reserved for you, and you wanna slowly ramp them into chores and choose something that's simpler and has a feeling of accomplishment. Like when you take the trash out, you can see the trash can is empty. That's a sense of accomplishment, as opposed to cleaning a sink, which, it kind of looks like the same sink just as it did before. So the last piece is stand your ground. Be consistent. Stand your ground and be consistent. It's really important that when you start your chores, that you continue them, including and especially when your kids fight back, and including and especially when you don't want to. When you don't want to do the chores is probably more important to do them than any other time, because it shows that you're willing to do them when you don't want to, and you're asking your kids to start building a muscle around getting them done when they don't want to either. But this way we have shared burden, we have shared laughs, and sometimes you'll sit down at the end and be like, oh my God, that was just horrible. And your kids will be doing the same thing. They'll be going, oh Dad, that was just horrible. And you can have a laugh over it. But remember, it's really important to build up their sense of ownership about being part of the family, their sense of being able to take on a task and work through it to its completion. And we need to stand our ground to make sure that the task is done, and what gets the task done appropriately is communicated. Like, all the trash cans have to be emptied and they need new trash can liners or whatever that thing is, that it is a complete job and that we stand by it and then we check out and go, okay, cool, you forgot this trash can. Please go empty that now. So while it can feel Sisyphean, and it certainly will in the beginning, it's well worth the effort, it's well worth the energy, and it is part of growing up and part of being a kid in a household is having chores. So this was a great question. Thanks so much for asking. And if you have more questions, keep them coming in. We're having a great time answering them. And the feedback we're getting is really great. So look forward to seeing that. Also, if you're watching this video, do you have a question? If so, put it in the comments. Or better yet, how would you have addressed this dad's issue? And lastly, we become better men by spending time with good men. My name's Charlie King. I'm with Heroic Fatherhood, and this has been your Mentor's Moment.